That was a little bit of a little moment there in the press conference that we just saw between AJ and Patricio with Patricky in the back. What'd you think of that?
I thought it was awesome that I wasn't part of it this time because everybody wants to blame me like I'm the person that starts all uh, the conflict. So I was not part of that one. That was all on them. So I mean, it's all good. AJ is the world champ now, and Patricky's a world champion now. So I think that two world champions snapping at each other is always good for Showtime.
So let me, before we look ahead to the fight coming up this week, let me look back on the immediate moments after the last fight back in July. There's such a heated buildup to that fight back in July between AJ and Pitbull. Both sides really heated. You get to the point where the fight it's the climax, and that fight doesn't go your guys' way. In fact, it doesn't go, I'm sure, any way you imagine, with Patricio getting finished inside 2 minutes. What was the immediate emotions and mentality when you guys got back to the locker room, having to face what had just happened?
My immediate was, did you tap? Why did they stop it? I thought that they probably shouldn't have stopped it if he didn't tap. I thought that it was one of the first events back after COVID-19. I thought that it was so loud in there that it could have affected. If Patricio's gonna go out, let him go out on the shield. Let him collapse on that floor. He didn't tap, he didn't go down, and I was like, if you didn't tap and you didn't go down, why'd they stop it? That was my immediate reaction.
So once you get past that, obviously you're processing everything right after a big buildup. Once we get past that and the realization comes in, that the fight ended the way that it did. Where was Patricio's mental state after that, and what did you say to him? What did you advise him in maybe the days after that?
Yeah, I stayed with him a week for that week after that, and I just said we go back to the drawing board and we focus. You know what? It was just a mistake on Patricio's part. The moment AJ threw that kick and he leaned into it, he knew he made the mistake. He should have never leaned into that kick, and that's probably why he didn't get knocked out, because he was conscious of the mistake he made probably a tenth of a second before that kick hit him. And he said, in his head, he said, I fucked up. I messed up. And he leaned into that kick, and he knew that when he leaned to it, he messed up. And we won't make that mistake again. There's something about these GOATs like Henry Cejudo and Patricio Pitbull. When you get a loss on them, they get a chip on their shoulder. And there's nothing more dangerous than Patricio Pitbull with a chip on his shoulder. Bellator GOAT is back to claim his belt. April 15th, Bellator 277. You don't want to miss it. Only on Showtime.
Do you, with regard to Patricio, what's his mindset now this week with the fight so near? What have you gleaned from him in terms of his mental state heading into the fight this time around?
Focus. He's way more focused. He's not distracted as far like last time we had that press conference, melee. I think everybody's a little bit more respectful of each other now, and that's a good thing. I think now it's just about taking care of business.
The last fight, then, you mentioned the emotion, like the distraction that happened with the press conference, with the melee between everybody. Was he too emotional? You hear that a lot, right? Guys go into fights too emotionally, and you can make a mistake. You talked about Patricio making a mistake. Was he not mentally focused, given what had just transpired heading into that fight?
I would say it was a combination of things. I never liked that we were here in LA fighting. We flew in. We had to fly in 10 days early. We had to stay an hour away from any gym because of the driving. While AJ McKee is, probably 10 blocks from his gym is the arena. So I think I never liked that we were in his hometown, that hometown advantage. And there was literally 99.9% of the people cheering for AJ McKee. And like I said, I think that affected the aura and the energy in that cage. So I didn't like that. And this time, I to tell you the truth, I'm still not satisfied with where it's at. I don't know why we're still in California. I mean, that's an hour. That's what, an hour flight from here to San Jose or something. I mean,
Roughly.
why are we still? We've been here for a week already, staying in a hotel. Training at a gym that's not ours. It comes with the game when you're a foreign fighter from another country, but I just wish we could put put AJ out of his comfort zone, and we still haven't done that yet, but that's not going to matter come April 15th because we're ready. Bill's ready.
You guys take sort of a me against the world mentality going into this fight?
The Pitbull brothers have always done that. They love to go into other people's hometowns, and Patricio Pitbull won his title in Ireland against Peter Quilley, Conor McGregor's teammate. But at this age, 34, 35, 36, you can't just, I'm going to go into your hometown and beat you anymore. You're not 25. You're not 26 anymore. They've been doing that for 10 years. And, man, I just wish that one of these days, the Bellator GOAT could get some respect and actually have the Bellator come to Brazil, even Natal, Brazil, northeast Brazil. I mean, the UFC has even come to Natal, Brazil before. Stipe Miocic fought Fabio Maldonado there. So, I'm just waiting for the day. I can't wait for the day that Bellator comes to Brazil. Scott
hinted at it. Maybe you guys get a win this time and we get a trilogy on home turf. How's that sound?
I've been hearing that since 2014 or 15, so I don't keep my hopes up anymore, but that would be nice.
Talk to me a little bit, the difference in mindset last time versus this time. Last time, Patricio is the champion. Champion mindset, different. Challenger mindset this time. How does he adjust? How does it feel going into this fight being the challenger? Or in Patricio's eyes, does he still feel like he's a champion heading into this fight and he's going to stick with what worked for so long?
Like I said, he's got a chip on his shoulder, so, a little bit more focus, less distractions, weight's better. Diet was a little bit more focused. You just hone everything in. You make the proper adjustments. You pay attention to the details, and he's had a great camp, and he's ready. He's ready to shock the world this time. And how cool is that going to be with the Pitbull brothers being 145 and 155-pound world champions? That has been my goal ever since I started coaching them in 2011. It's been 11 years where I've been waiting for this moment. And April 15th, the Pitbull brothers are going to make history and become the first brothers to have Bellator world titles at the same time.
AJ predicted inside 2 rounds for himself to win this fight. What is your prediction for this rematch?
It's going to go between 3 and 5. 3 and 5, Patricio's going to win that belt. If it goes to decision, we win it in 5, but I could see a finish by Patricio in 3rd, 4th, or 5th round.
Also want to ask you, big news with another fighter very close to you, Henry Cejudo, Triple C, re-entering the USADA pool. Retired back in 2020 after he beat Dominic Cruz. Now he's coming back, or has decided he's coming back over 2 years later. Give us your immediate thoughts on that and what went into Triple C, from what you know, making the decision to re-enter USADA and make a UFC comeback.
Henry Cejudo has put on his goggles, he's put on his Speedo, and he's dived like a cannonball into the USADA pool. Like I said, it takes a legend to beat a legend, and the ultimate legend is back. The greatest combat athlete of all time is coming back to prove that he is the greatest combat athlete of all time. He's going for that 3rd belt, and Alex Volkanovski, I don't know why he doesn't want to fight the greatest combat athlete of all time, but we're going to make that fight happen. Cejudo When Cejudo sets his mind to something, there's no stopping Henry Cejudo. Triple C will become C4 this year. Bet the house. We're coming after that Kiwi Alex Volkanovski.
It's happening. That's the one. That's the target. The clear target for Henry is Alex Volkanovski.
The clear target is Alex Volkanovski, and then maybe go back down and get his bantamweight belt. Come on, you're going to have T.J. Dillashaw fight for the title? Henry knocked him out in 32 seconds. You know, so that's still Henry's belt. He never lost that belt. So the Funk Master, T.J. Dillashaw, that's the after Henry Triple C becomes C4 when he takes out Volkanovski, he's going to come after those two as well.
Let's say the UFC doesn't want to do Henry immediately at 145, but because he never lost his 135 title, he has a rightful claim to being the instant #1 contender there and fighting Aljamain Sterling. Is that plan B if plan A doesn't work out?
I don't think there is a plan B. Triple C doesn't have plan B. It's plan A. It's Volkanovski. Volkanovski, Olympic champion, 2-time UFC champion versus another legend in Volkanovski. That is the fight to make. You want to become the greatest of all time, take out the greatest combat athlete of all time. I know they think he's short. I know they think he's small. Never count out Henry Cejudo. I've been with Henry Cejudo since 2004. He became the youngest Olympic champion of all time.
You were there.
Then he went from Yote to GOAT. And that's the fight to make. Volkanovski versus Triple C. There's no other fight to make. Nobody else has given Alex the competition that he needs. And, you know, Henry may call him average, but I do think he is great. And I'll give him that. But he ain't the greatest combat athlete of all time. That title belongs to Henry Cejudo. And if you want that title, you got to beat Henry Cejudo.
Being around Henry, when did he start to seriously consider coming back? Like, when did he start talking to you and mentioning coming back? Because he retired, and I think we thought Henry's retirement it's lasted a while, and we felt that, you know, it was going to last and maybe be for good, as retirement should be. But now he's coming back. When did he start mentioning that he really did want to do this?
Well, I think his daughter, America the Beautiful, kind of motivates you in a different kind of way. Before, his motivation was to become, was the glory. And now when you have a child, that kind of becomes your motivation to show your daughter, America, that you can conquer what has never been conquered. 3 belts in the UFC, Olympic champion, flyweight champion, bantamweight champion, and featherweight champion, something that's never been done before. He wants to show that, and he wants America to be able to see Papi Henry, Big Papa, Henry Cejudo accomplish something that's never been accomplished in the history of MMA, and that is becoming a 3-belt champion.
Captain Eric, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.